This is us, the Espinal Boys, inseparable since birth. Being first-generation Americans born in New York City, our parents sacrificed everything so we could live out our dream. And that dream was to become professional baseball players. I love the sport, but in my pursuit of living out a dream, I painfully realized that God had different plans for me. But my brother Marcus, his story is different. During his time in Bluefield, Marcus surrendered his life to Christ and began to lead and encourage others in the faith by starting a Bible study on campus. Marcus, who was a late bloomer physically, began to develop as a baseball player, and his growth was displayed on and off the field. An All-American, winning the ACC Champion of Character Award in 2018. Marcus played well, but an oblique injury sidelined him his senior year. In 2020, we went to our second home, the Dominican Republic, where baseball is ingrained into every young man growing up on the island. The average Dominican makes about $7,000 US a year. So for a lot of these young men, baseball is their way off the island. Baseball is survival for these kids, and it means to feed their families. We carry baseball in our blood, and it shows from the Dominican style of play. The passion, the pride, the flair of the game is born here on these fields. Dominicans make up 11% of Major League Baseball players. One Dominican plays in the major leagues for every 63,000 people, while one American plays for every 300,000. In the park, Marcus's name was changed to America. Marcus served as a mentor to the youngsters at the park. He would show them how to prepare and train their bodies to be at top-level performance. The kids admired him and saw him as someone they wanted to be. Marcus sharpened his skills in the Dominican Republic, and even God had opened up a door for him to have a tryout for the Boston Red Sox. The scout liked Marcus and invited him back for another workout, but then the world had stopped. COVID-19 began to spread and the whole world shut down. The world we lived in had changed forever. What was once a vibrant and lively city quickly became desolate and barren. Everyone's dreams and goals were put on hold. Marcus was relentless in his pursuit. He knew that he was so close to achieving his dream. Marcus made the best decision, and that was to stay ready. Every day Marcus would grind, working hard day by day, hoping that the world will come back to normal and that he can get another opportunity to live out his dream. With the year passing since COVID had shook up the world, Marcus had stayed the course, but things are a bit different this time. He's a year older, Being a 24-year-old who had already finished his college career, the chances of Marcus getting signed is something you see in Hollywood. I remember thinking about ways and how I can, set myself apart or just try and get myself to where I wanted to be even through the pandemic, not being able to really market myself and move around. And so I got into social media. I started posting and uploading videos of myself in college, even in practice. And one day, out of the blue, out of nowhere, to be honest with you, I was doing my daily activities of training and working out, and one day I got to the gym and I seen a message enter into my inbox, and it was actually a scout or a coach that was recruiting for an independent ball league in North Carolina. For me, it was great news, but it was also a moment in which I was like, let me pray about this, let me check. Let me do my diligence just in case something else better happens or comes my way, or maybe I can return to the Dominican Republic and try out again with Boston or any other team. Marcus's dreams really seem just to be a dream, but God always has the final say. Where it was all finished, where all doors seem to be closed, God shows Marcus there's some unfinished business. Marcus left his job January 30th of this year and began training in preparation for the tryout. The tryout is for the Southern Shores Baseball League, an independent baseball association.
I'm Chad Sywin. I pitch at UConn Avery Point, now pitching at Post University, and here to work with Marcus, give him a few reps, get my work in too. Out here, just wanting to compete, give Marcus a good competition out here, prepare for summer, having him prepare for pro ball, and here we go.
This is Marcus's first time batting live since his time in the Dominican Republic. That was March 2020. Chaz's fastball sits between 88 to 92 miles an hour. It's safe to say that Marcus didn't miss a beat. The level of competition was high, and it brought the best out of both of them. Chaz pitched 3 innings against Marcus. Each at-bat was more intense than the last, featuring a slider, changeup, and curve. Chaz picked on Marcus's weaknesses, and Marcus has picked up on Chaz's habits. All in all, it was a great day of competition.
What surprises me is that I'm seeing the ball so well.
Yeah.
It's been such a long time. The only thing that I'm lacking right now is just my timing, catching the barrel. I'm at a different place than I thought I would be.
Yeah.
So that's definitely good. It's definitely good.
Now we head down south to the Tar Heel State, Greensboro, North Carolina. And this is where we meet the gang. At the first day of practice, the crew was formed. We have the twins, Marcus and AJ. AJ's a 25-year-old from the Lower East Side of Manhattan. AJ hasn't played organized baseball since he was a teenager. It's an uphill battle for him because he does not have much experience, but his work ethic is what allows him to compete at this level.
Alright, so the last time I played organized baseball, I was 14 going to 15. That's the last time I played. I had about 8 years without playing until I went to DR and I started actually playing a little bit of competitive, seeing live pitching. I heard the coach said, if you don't use, you'll lose it. And there, for some reason, baseball just came up in my head. I was like, damn, I was good in baseball, but I stopped using it, so I lost it. So I had a talent, so I was like, you know what, let me go give it another shot because I thought that was what I was good at.
We bonded with AJ because 1, we are from the same area, but 2, Marcus fell in love with his drive to get better. And that is the type of people you want to have around. They both have the same goals, they both hold each other accountable, and through this bond, a great friendship was formed for a lifetime.
I mean, Marcus has been a blessing because the whole time I've been here, I've been asking myself, man, I hope I could find somebody that I could work with and actually push me to the next level where I want to be at. And Marcus has been tremendous for me because honestly, it's been a blessing because he works on things and he sees the things I need to improve, and I'm all ears, you know. So that's why I'm grateful and I'm thankful I got to meet him, and you know, I know I'm gonna be better with him.
Every day, AJ's getting better. And every day he's getting closer to his goal of signing with a professional team. The boys from Curaçao are a bit different from AJ. They have all the experience, and they've been chasing their dreams since they were kids. When they were 16 years old, they tried out in the Dominican Republic for a couple of scouts. Here's their story.
He blew it. 17 honrón afuera, MVP, y él dio como 5.
The twins came here on a mission. They came to make a name for themselves and solidify a spot on the roster.
Cuando fuimos a la casa, la primera cosa que nos dijo los cubanos que seguro que ustedes van a hallar un contrato. Nos llaman. El dirigente, primera cosa que nos dijo es van a firmar los muchachos. Yo recuerdo que yo le dije a él que ahí pasó una jipeta bonita. ¿Sí? Yo le dije, yo tengo dinero para comprar esa jipeta. Y ya, ahí los abogados se sentaron a hablar en la mesa y no sé qué estaban hablando. El dirigente de nosotros subí el por ciento, porque era de 40% para él y 60% para nosotros. Y fui a subirlo 50-50, porque yo pienso que era chin dinero.
The twins did not take the money. They thought because they were on the island for 3 days that more offers would present themselves. But they didn't receive any more offers, so they returned home to Curaçao.
Llegamos ahí y subimos de AA de una vez. O sea, la liga más alta que hay en Curazao. De una vez subimos. Subimos mes hora. Con 17 años ya subimos AA.
The twins' talent potential just goes to show you how hard it is to make it in baseball. The twins, AJ and Marcus, bond over the same experiences within the sport. All 4 of them have unfinished business. We pick back up with Marcus and the guys at their first team practice. Marcus's defense has improved tremendously. He accredits his growth to his time spent in the Dominican Republic. His hands have always been soft, but what I've seen improve the most is his footwork. The way he attacks the ball, his timing, his positioning is at an elite level. My biggest concern for Marcus was his hitting. I threw countless hours of batting practice with him, front toss, soft toss. I worked with him, but nothing can simulate a live game. I asked Marcus how does he feel about his hitting off camera. He says he's ready. His faith is unmoved and he understands and believes that God brought him out there for a reason. Whether it's on the field or off the field, Marcus knows that he could be at peace at all times because he understands that God is with him.
All I can do is literally just express gratitude and thankfulness unto God, because through everything that I've been through that time until now, I noticed a change in me. I noticed a great growth in me, thank God. And if I probably would have taken an opportunity or would have gotten selected to play professional ball, maybe I wouldn't have had this maturation, this growth.
I believe Marcus looks good. There's certain things you just don't forget, like riding a bike. But I don't believe he has reached his peak level of performance. It's the first weekend of games and today is game day, a baptism by fire per se. And Marcus has to prove to himself and to the scouts that he belongs. This moment right here, Marcus has been preparing for since the beginning of the pandemic. Hours of working in the cage, thousands of swings off the tee has all led to this very moment. Marcus's first plate appearance, his timing was too early on a junk ball pitcher. Frustrated, but he needs to make an adjustment, an in-game adjustment. What he learned in his first at-bat was that the pitcher stayed away the whole time. With men on first and second with 2 outs, Marcus approaches the plate, looking to do damage. The first 2 pitches of this at-bat are the same approach. Away, away, away. Marcus makes the adjustment. Marcus is able to get the job done. In his third at-bat, Marcus works a walk. All in all, it was a solid first game for Marcus. It's the next day, and we're off on a road trip, 3 hours away, the countryside of North Carolina. This game, the Twins were traded to the other team so they can fulfill some missing spots. Marcus, in his first plate appearance, he's looking to drive in the man on second with 2 outs. Today, he decides to be a little bit more aggressive in his approach.
Go! I'm gone. No. Tag, baby. Tag, baby. Yes.
It's a broken bat single, but he does drive in the run. Now it's AJ's turn to keep the rally going.
Up. Hi, boy, Marcus.
AJ works the pitcher to a 3-2 count, but goes down swinging on a good changeup. Marcus falls behind a quick 0-2 count. AJ, like Marcus, falls behind a quick 0-2 count as well, but works the pitcher to have a quality at bat and work a walk. Alex grounds into an inning-ending double play to Marcus at shortstop, and Marcus makes a good play up the middle to end the game. Come on, Mark. Come on, Mark. Come on, Mark.
Hell yeah, baby. Good play, Marcus.
With each passing game, Marcus is getting closer and closer to reaching peak performance. With the first weekend of games done with, the guys head into the training facility to make the adjustments needed going forward.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have something going on with the Mets. I don't. I got so many Met gear.
Marcus has taken note on the things that he needs to improve on, but he's also willing to help others in areas of their game.
We don't run after the ball like this. Yeah. We run after the ball with our ass up, this bent over, and we run. Right, left, or we right here. And then from here, boom, boom, boom. It's easy to go down. You know? Tú la vas a dar una galleta. Tú te vas aquí y en vez de tú hacer así, vas así. Este tiene que estar ahí.
Yes, sir.
I was also a helping hand, coaching and running practices for the guys. We were all bought in and did whatever we can to get each other better. This time in the cage is used as a time of reflection. You reflect on the bad habits, but you also strengthen the good ones. Here you grow in confidence because you know that the work that you put in is not in vain. With the adjustments made in the batting cages, Marcus and the guys are looking to have a big weekend at the plate. Coming into today's game, Marcus is looking to drive the ball. But working the pitcher to a 3-2 count, he goes the other way for a single. Marcus's impact this game wasn't with the bat, but this time with his glove. But now, the moment we all been waiting for has arrived.
Just gotta find the good of it. Where I see, even if what I've been news of hearing yesterday, just blessed to be here. I mean, I'm with people I never met, and we all play baseball. We all want to get to the next level. It was the reason that we got together, probably just to improve ourselves, push ourselves to the next level. It doesn't matter. I just find another way. You know, there's always gonna be more ways. Just stay positive, have faith, and that things will always be right. Because if you keep the mentality of things are gonna be wrong, it's no point in putting that energy out there.
Sí, yo quiero aconsejarle a los muchachos que están viendo esto que si encuentran un contrato, no le importa el dinero, solo ve lo que te den y juega tu pelota. Si tú juegas bien, te van a subir de liga, no importa el dinero, como hicieron con nosotros. Solo tienes que jugar tu pelota y tú llegas donde tú quieras. Quisiera devolver el tiempo atrás para conseguir como $1 mío para meterme, para mostrar al mundo que quién soy yo en la pelota, porque sé que puedo. Sigue para adelante, no hay que bajar la cabeza. Hay que seguir como quiera, profesional o no, jugar lo que me gusta. Sí.
And to me, as I'm here right now speaking to you guys, I'm 100% sure that I'm supposed to be here, and I've only been here probably about 72 hours, but it has been a great 3 days so far, and I can just tell that God is going to do everything that He sent me out here for, and I'm excited to see what's to come in the future.
All right, we're live in 3, 2, 1. How was your experience in North Carolina? What happened?
I had gotten hurt the week before we were about to begin regular season. I just had started seeing the ball well. I just had started hitting, fielding, throwing well, and yeah, it was a bit devastating for me. I was really excited to play and put up good numbers. I had the expectation and the hope that I was going to be moved from that league and find a better league so that I can perform at and reach my end goal. But yeah, I had a hamstring strain, and it actually sidelined me for the remainder of the season. The regular season was about a 3-week season. It was cut short due to some issues that the league had.
To highlight some of the promises and issues with the league, first we must meet the president, Omar Wright. Omar Wright is the president of the league. Amongst his promises, he promised a 30-game season. League was cut short. In the contract, it also stated that a player will receive $100 a month plus bonuses based on performance. Sales commission offered through team store and personalized jersey sales. All these promises were made, but none of them were kept. Kids from all over the U.S. came to North Carolina, believing that this league was going to offer them pay, an opportunity to play in front of scouts, and face top-tier competition. The league failed in delivering on all these promises.
You know, us, while we was playing, when we signed up, they had told us that we was gonna be expecting this pay. So, you know, we waited and waited, and we never got paid for what we was doing, which was playing. I tell you what, day by day, we over here spending our funds, our own money out of pocket. Mind you, we was even making money because we had no job. We was out there playing, hoping that we was gonna get paid, trying to get, some benefits out of it, and very unprofessional for us to experience that. Not really being upfront with it is what really bothers the most to us.
The twins from Curaçao spent over $10,000 to make it to North Carolina, not to mention housing, food, and transportation. All of us made tremendous sacrifices to make it there. Everyone thought that they were going to make their money back once they got paid, but no one ever did. In my investigation of the league, I found out that a number of players were not paid. I tried to confirm with multiple sources if the league was indeed a scam, but I could not connect all the pieces together.
It was their first year. I don't think that they knew everything that was going to present itself as operating under, a new league, a new independent league, and attracting all the baseball players that they did attract. The league in itself, professional-wise, it didn't turn out good.
With the new revelations of the league, a part of us questioned the Lord. God, why did you bring us out here? What was the purpose of all this time and money spent? Then we realized the league was almost an excuse needed for us to get down to North Carolina, because God had something special planned for one of his children.
There's a scripture in the Bible, I'll share this with you guys, that says that all things work together for good to those who love God and who are called according to his purpose. In the moment that I got injured, I didn't understand it. I couldn't wrap my head around it because I was in the position where my dream or the vision that I had or the purpose that I thought was in my mind of me being out there was on the brink of success. I was on the brink of breakthrough. And so when I got injured, it didn't add up in my head. But after a few days of just being home and recovering and just thinking and meditating, I said to myself, what's the purpose of being home depressed or sad and unproductive and not being a light or a blessing to my team? And so I really had to shake it off after 3 days of being really down. And I said, hey, I'm here for a purpose and it's bigger than baseball. And so I had reconnected with a friend, a childhood friend that I grew up here in Connecticut with. And he didn't live too far. He actually lived in Charlotte, North Carolina. And we had gotten together. He was going through a tough time as well with certain situations in his life. And so being able to come together with him and to really just share our hearts and to really be there for one another, it really made the trip so worth it. It really made it so successful. So what I thought was for my bad, it actually turned out for my good. You can be there for your friend and he can be there for you in moments of adversity. And so when I had reconnected with Jimmy and started staying over his house and just sharing good moments together and sharing good memories, it really brought forth the importance of friendship. It brought forth healing to ourselves, and we were both able to encourage each other.
So it seemed by design that God had orchestrated everything. It wasn't just one purpose that God had in mind for us down south, but multiple. The Lord had a purpose with our friend Jimmy. We also connected with a lifelong friend in AJ. And Marcus ministered to a lot of his teammates and opponents. So even though Marcus was not able to accomplish his dream of getting closer to becoming a major leaguer, lives were impacted on the way.
Yeah, I remember thinking back to those times in which I was so upset and I was so frustrated. And I said, man, this is happening again. And I couldn't get my mind around it, to be honest. The more I thought about it was the more I thought that I was digging myself into a hole.
But when Marcus got home, the reality of what happened in North Carolina started to settle in. This is when the enemy started attacking Marcus's mind, sowing seeds of doubt, and would attack deeply rooted scars that God already healed.
I was thinking to myself, what am I going to do? What am I going to become? How is it that I'm going to reach my goal of becoming a professional baseball player? I had thought back to my past and certain moments that were very important and to who I am today. And so I remember I was living a double lifestyle. I wasn't this perfect Christian that you guys may see on the screen. And I remember I was living a time in which I had multiple different girlfriends and relationships and hanging out with people that I shouldn't have been hanging out with. And I remember one of the girls had actually tried to accuse me for sexual misconduct. And I remember that this news was so shocking, it was so sudden, and how greatly it affected me in that time.
This incident happened in 2018. To understand Marcus and who he is, first you need to understand that a past of brokenness and unfulfillment is the reason why he is so free and in love with God. Marcus has learned to thank God for the whole situation, because that was the turning point for him. That moment marked and changed him as a person.
And this whole process had lasted about a year in its entirety. And I remember the girl and her family knew my family, and the way that this was dealt with was that our families came together and we spoke about it, and we were able to find a solution. We were able to clear it up, basically.
From that moment on, I no longer view Marcus as my younger brother, but now a young man who has made mistakes, took accountability, and rose above to overcome.
I remember that throughout that whole year between point A and point B, in which our families were able to come together and find peace, I was living in hell. I was living in with no peace. I didn't know how I could make myself feel better, and what it is that I had to do. All I knew was that I just had to continue believing and having hope that there was a better future, a better tomorrow, and to go forward with my career as a baseball player and who I was as a student athlete at the time.
Coming home and feeling without purpose, Marcus knew something had to change. He knew the enemy was attacking him and his identity. So like anyone in the Bible, Marcus knew he had to walk out in faith and be fearless.
So when I came back home, my mindset was just on serving, being grateful that I was here, being grateful for the great moments and memories that I had in North Carolina with my friend Jimmy and just the teammates and stuff. Being able to just reflect and understand that even if I traveled and went different places, I'm still the same person. And no matter what situation arises, I'm still having the same call in my life to serve, to help where it is necessary. And so I thank God for that, because being able to have that understanding and perspective really helped me to get through some.
In the second half of 2021, Marcus had gone through a shift in his priorities. He became more involved with our home church. Our church has plans to grow and really make an impact within our community. So Marcus decided to be a part of the move of God. Marcus became the translator in our church and translate from Spanish to English within the services. He will become more involved with the youth group, preaching the word of God and sharing the goodness of God and his faithfulness to anyone who will listen to him. Marcus knows to grow and to become fruitful, you must align yourself to a vision. And to accomplish that vision, you must be in the right position to allow God to move the way he wants.
Yes, Marcus has been a great, help for the church. His purpose is to serve. And I can see that all he wants to do is to serve. He doesn't care if it is translating, or it is going onto the street to preach, or preaching here when I asked him to preach on a Thursday.
In this season, the impact and growth of the church was plentiful. We became a big family.
I think that it is making an impact on the youth group. It's making an impact not only on the youth, but it's making an impact even on grown-up people, adult people, because they see Marcus as an example. If he's a young man and he loves God so much, he's like showing the way to people that no matter if you're young, you can serve the Lord with all your heart.
A camaraderie was built, and now the church is looking for a new building because of the growth. Members old and young shared smiles, laughs, and memories together.
The way the church is growing, I expect the church to be one of the biggest churches in Danbury, Connecticut. And not just for the numbers of people, but for the service that we are doing in the church. We have a lot of ministry that we have to serve the community and the brothers in the faith.
I believe the Lord was very pleased in Marcus's response to his trials. And because of that, I believe the Lord wanted to do something special with Marcus. And that he did. Marcus and AJ decided to stay local and try out for the Rockland Boulders of the Independent Frontier League. Unfortunately, the day of the tryout, the weather did not allow for the players to be on the field, so everyone had to hit off a machine indoors.
Well, it's 45 degrees and cold, and we've been waiting down here for 30 minutes, so things are not going well.
The guys decided to wait for their names to be called in the bathroom to stay warm. Days like this really tug at you, to see how bad you really want it.
One thing we can't control is the rain, bro.
But eventually, Marcus and AJ's names were called.
I've got Diaz Alfonso, Marcus Espinal.
Ball! Ball!
There you go, baby.
I had come to the decision that I was going to stop pursuing my career as a baseball player and to focus my energy and my talents in other areas.
How did that make you feel?
I would say that I didn't really feel anything right away. I'm a person in which sometimes I just put things off to the side and don't give it too much mind so that I can be able to continue going forward. But after a few months, it really began to settle into my system. And I remember that it made me feel less of a dreamer, less of somebody who wanted to really go out there and accomplish a dream or really receive the reward of believing in a dream. So,
one of the hardest things to do is give up something you spent your whole life doing. I can sympathize with my brother because I experienced those same feelings before him. But even though our reasons for stopping are not the same, we were able to reinvent ourselves. We allowed God to heal us and open up our minds for the Lord to develop us as His children.
Vice versa, sir. Want to make sure before you take a swing, something that helps me out, right before he's about to throw it, like he picks up a ball, you swing, whatever, finish, come back up, take a look at the cone, then look at him, and you already know, you're already programmed.
Now Marcus has transitioned into teaching the game. Marcus got involved in coaching at one of our local high schools. His goal was to learn under Coach Ian Ratchford. Coach Ratchford spoke on Marcus's impact in the program.
I wish that he was a paid coach somewhere. Obviously, we're very lucky to have him here. For someone that's a young man, he has incredible life outlook. When I was a young coach, I won, ergo, I was a good guy. He knows better. He knows that it's more than winning or losing. He knows that it's about the young person, about the man that's inside of that baseball player. And that's what we love about him. We love when he talks because, again, they listen.
For me, it's an exciting job because there I really get to, show more of myself in the aspects of being one who can tell them how to do something, but also show them how to do something, and also being able to communicate in which I believe is so necessary for players.
In this stage of Marcus's life, Marcus wants to give back and be the person he wishes he had while playing the game.
But if you practice confidently, you're gonna produce confident results. And when you're playing, how many of you guys want to be confident, right? Everybody, right? So you guys gotta practice confident. Everything that you do has to be done with confidence.
Now for him, it's about inspiring and influencing the younger generation, because he knows that they are the ones to bring about change in the world.
He goes out and he can get it done, and he practices with a purpose, so he's a great role model for my players to see. Here's a guy that still loves the game. Here's a guy that still takes every opportunity to go out and try to get better, or to try to get back, or to try to get better and get back.
As I see his progression, he is becoming the change he wants to see, a true role model. Being able to be looked at as a mentor and a role model for me, is probably the reward of me going through everything that I went through as a baseball player and being able to share the knowledge and information that I did with them. So I was very, very happy, very grateful too. And there was a job opportunity that really presented itself right away, and I took it, and I began to work as a fall ball coach for an 18U team, in which I felt passion reignite itself in me. In his first year as coach, Marcus brought the team to the championship game. The guys had all the momentum coming into the game, riding a 4-game win streak.
So I think we're peaking at the right time, and that's where we belong in the championship game. There were no easy wins. We had to fight our way, and we're here now. I think we're going to do okay.
The game got off to a quick start. The opposing team jumped out in front with an early lead.
Guys, we gotta be content today. Listen up, Stein. We gotta be content with what the game gives us. Don't try and move too quickly, all right, guys? Step by step, little by little, all right, boys? They just scored the first run, who cares? We have a bunch of runs to score right now, but don't try and force the issue. Flow into it, allow it to happen. There's no time limit in baseball. We manage our own time, all right, guys? Yeah. So allow it to flow. Let's go, boys.
Here we go.
Just
Go. It's on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Hey!
In the end, the other team did not go out without a fight. Getting 3 straight hits to load up the bases. In dramatic fashion, an inning-ending double play ends the game. Now Marcus and the team are champions. From the start of our journey as being kids madly in love with the game, to playing in the Dominican Republic and being looked at by the Boston Red Sox, to surviving a global pandemic, I can definitely say that this journey was nothing short of amazing. And our growth as children of God is something to be proud of. An amazing 3-year journey. So my faith from 2020 until now is the same. I'm continuing to believe God for who He is and who I am in Him, and understanding that a blessing isn't so much material in many ways as we think or how we want them, but just thanking God for the ability to have peace, the ability to have joy, and the ability to be able to give back to certain kids. And so my expectations going forward is, I wouldn't say isn't subject to a certain thing, it's more subject to who I am, who I'm becoming, and how I can continue to be a child of God here on the earth and be salt and light to everybody who's around me. Marcus is not just a baseball player. He's a Christian who happens to play baseball. He doesn't separate the two. So wherever he is, he's going to glorify God and be courageous no matter the circumstance. Marcus knows he has unfinished business within the sport, but what is most important to him now is that he's about his Father's business: to be light in the midst of darkness, bring hope to the hopeless, and reconcile lives back to Jesus Christ. Here ends Marcus's story, a person who has been transformed by God and now leaves an incredible testimony.
True life begins when you give your life to Jesus Christ, when you get to know him as a person, as somebody who you can call father, who you can call brother, somebody who's going to be there with you throughout every part of your life. And he's never going to leave you. He's always going to be by your side. One thing I can attest to is that during those moments in which I wasn't seeing what I wanted to see, I never lacked in having peace, because in a moment when I felt despair, in a moment where I felt desperate, moments later I felt peace. I felt the reassurance that my God was with me and that he was always going to be with me. And I remember also understanding, and I'd like to share this to all that are listening to me, is that when you say yes to Jesus and you ask God to really use you and to have his plan come to fulfillment in your life, we got to understand is that he has his story written. And with that story, we can have faith and we can rest in understanding that we just have to trust him. And with that, I want to read a scripture. And it says in Jeremiah 29:11, it says, "For I know the thoughts or the plans that I have for you, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you a future and a hope." And so I believe that through my life, I was able to come into what it is to really believe in God, trust in him, and understand that his plan is bigger than whatever plan I may have. And so it's an invitation to believe and trust, and I will share that with everybody here.